Confucius versus Plato, Blueprints for the Perfect Society. Greetings, seekers of wisdom, and welcome back to our exploration of great minds. Today, we compare two foundational thinkers from opposite ends of the ancient world. Both Confucius in the East and Plato in the West grappled with fundamental questions about human nature and social order. They sought to build blueprints for a better, more harmonious society. Living in times of social upheaval, the Warring States period in China and post-Peloponnesian War Athens spurred their philosophical quests. How could stability and justice be restored? While their contexts differed dramatically, their goals converged on creating virtuous citizens and just governance. Let's compare their visionary and sometimes controversial ideas. First, let's travel to ancient China, to the time of Confuci or Master Kong, known to us as Confucius. He lived roughly from 551 to 479 BCE. Confucius wasn't a king or a prophet in the traditional sense, but a scholar, teacher, and minor political official. His influence, however, would shape Chinese civilization for millennia. He believed society had declined from a golden age, the early Zhou dynasty. His mission was to restore social harmony through ethical conduct and ritual propriety. Confucius emphasized the importance of tradition and learning from the past. He saw education not just as acquiring knowledge, but as moral cultivation. Central to his thought is the concept of Ren. Chinese laid it as benevolence, humaneness, or perfect virtue. It represents the inner quality of compassion and ethical character. Complementing Ren is Li, meaning ritual propriety, etiquette, or social customs. Li provides the external framework for expressing Ren appropriately in social interactions. Confucius believed that observing proper rituals and social roles cultivated virtue and maintained social order. Everyone had specific duties based on their relationships. He outlined the 5 relationships: ruler, subject, father, son, husband, wife, elder brother, younger brother, friend. Each involved specific obligations and deference. Filial piety, respect for one's parents and ancestors, was considered a foundational virtue. It was seen as the root of Ren and social harmony. The ideal person in Confucianism is the Ginzi. Chiryu. The Genzi cultivates virtues like righteousness, loyalty, trustworthiness, and wisdom. Confucius believed that rulers should lead by moral example, not by force or harsh laws. If the ruler is virtuous, the people will naturally follow. Paisin was key to cultivating junzi in good rulers. Confucius accepted students from various social backgrounds, focusing on moral development and classical learning. His teachings, compiled by his disciples in the Analects, focus on practical ethics and social harmony. They offer guidance for living a virtuous life within society. Confucianism is deeply humanistic, focusing on human relationships and responsibilities in this world. It doesn't dwell extensively on metaphysics or the afterlife. His vision was one of a well-ordered society based on ethical relationships, ritual observance, and virtuous leadership. Harmony begins with the individual's moral cultivation. Now, let's shift our focus westward to ancient Greece, specifically Athens, where Plato lived from roughly 428 to 348 BCE. He was a student of Socrates and founder of the academy. Like Confucius, Plato was deeply concerned with the chaos and moral decline he witnessed, particularly the execution of his teacher, Socrates. He sought a more stable and just political order. Plato's philosophy, however, took a more abstract and metaphysical turn. Central to his thought is the theory of forms or ideas. He argued that the physical world we perceive is merely a shadow or imperfect copy of a higher, eternal realm of perfect forms. True knowledge involves apprehending these forms through reason. The highest form is the form of the good, which illuminates all other forms. Understanding the good is the ultimate goal of philosophy and essential for true virtue. In his seminal work, The Republic, Plato outlines his vision of an ideal state or Callipolis. This state is structured hierarchically based on citizens' innate abilities and education. Plato proposed three classes: the producers, farmers, artisans, the auxiliaries, warriors, and the guardians, rulers. Each class corresponds to a part of the soul, appetitive, spirited, and rational. Justice in the state, for Plato, means each class performing its proper function without interfering with others. Harmony arises when reason, the guardians, rules over spirit and appetite. Similarly, justice in the individual soul means reason, governing the spirited and appetitive parts. Virtue is the harmony of the soul. The rulers of this ideal state are the philosopher kings. These individuals, through rigorous philosophical training, have apprehended the form of the good and thus possess true knowledge. Plato believed only those who understand true justice and goodness are fit to rule. They would govern wisely, motivated by the common good, not personal gain. His educational system was elaborate and state-controlled, designed to identify potential guardians and train them in mathematics, dialectic, and philosophy. It aimed to turn the soul towards the forms. Plato advocated for communal living among the guardians, including shared property and even spouses and children. This was intended to eliminate private interests and foster unity. His vision is aristocratic, based on intellectual merit rather than birth or wealth. Democracy, as practiced in Athens, he viewed critically as susceptible to mob rule and ignorance. Plato's ideal state is highly structured and arguably authoritarian. Individual freedom is subordinate to the needs of the harmonious whole. So, let's compare these two architects of society. Both Confucius and Plato emphasized virtue and education as crucial for good governance. Both believed rulers should be morally exemplary and possess wisdom. Confucius's Junzi ruler leads by example. Plato's philosopher king rules through knowledge of the good. Their approaches to achieving this differed significantly. Confucius focused on tradition, ritual, and practical ethics within existing social structures. Plato proposed a radical restructuring of society based on metaphysical principles and rule by a philosophical elite. He was more revolutionary in his political design. Confucius emphasized relationships and duties within the family and community. Plato prioritized the state and sought to minimize familial ties among the ruling class. Confucian education aimed at cultivating virtues like Ren and lie through studying classics and observing propriety. Platonic education aimed at apprehending abstract forms through reason and dialectic. Plato's society relies on a sharp division of labor and innate capacities. Confucius believed moral potential could be cultivated in anyone through effort and learning. Confucius looked to the past, idealized Zhou dynasty for models. Plato looked towards a transcendent realm of forms for his blueprint. Regarding the source of morality, Confucius rooted it in humaneness, Ren, and social harmony. Plato grounded it in the eternal objective form of the good. Both systems have faced criticism. Confucianism has been blamed for rigid hierarchies and suppressing individualism. Platonism has been criticized as totalitarian and impractical. Yet, Both offer profound insights into the relationship between individual character and social order. They challenge us to think about what constitutes a just society. Confucius provides a framework for ethical conduct in everyday life and relationships. His emphasis on empathy and social responsibility remains relevant. Plato pushes us to consider the role of knowledge and reason in governance. His questions about justice and the ideal state continue to shape political philosophy. Confucianism profoundly shaped East Asian cultures, influencing governance, education, and social norms for centuries. Its legacy is complex but undeniable. Platonism, particularly through the Republic, became a cornerstone of Western political thought. It inspired utopian thinking and debates about justice and authority. Consider their views on art and music. Confucius saw regulated music and art as tools for moral cultivation. Plato famously distrusted poets and artists in his Republic, fearing their emotional influence. Confucius' focus was on practical wisdom for living harmoniously in the world. Plato's focus often seemed directed towards transcending the world for a higher reality. The Confucian ideal emphasizes adapting oneself to social roles. The Platonic ideal emphasizes training the soul to apprehend timeless truths. Both thinkers grappled with the problem of ensuring rulers are virtuous. Confucius relied on moral suasion and education. Plato proposed a specialized ruling class. Confucius was more pragmatic, aiming to advise existing rulers and cultivate gentlemanly conduct. Plato's vision in the Republic is more radical and theoretical. Their influence extends beyond philosophy into everyday ethics and cultural values. Terms like filial piety and Platonic love derive from their legacies. They represent two powerful models of virtue ethics, one grounded in relational duties, the other in rational understanding of universal principles. Imagine these two thinkers meeting. Confucius might admire Plato's dedication to wisdom, but question the practicality and rigidity of his state. Plato might respect Confucius's ethical focus, but criticize his reliance on tradition and lack of metaphysical grounding in the forms. Both offer critiques of unchecked power and ignorance in leadership. They sought to replace arbitrary rule with governance based on wisdom and virtue. Their ideas force us to ask, what is the purpose of society? How should it be governed? What kind of citizens should it cultivate? Is the ideal society based on harmonious relationships and traditions, Confucius? Or is it based on rational order and knowledge of objective truths, Plato? Confucius emphasized perfecting oneself within the social fabric. Plato emphasized perfecting the soul to understand reality beyond the social fabric. Both saw education as transformative, capable of shaping individuals and society. Their differing curricula reflect their distinct goals. Confucius stressed the importance of learning history and poetry for moral insight. Plato prioritized mathematics and dialectic for accessing the forms. Their legacies demonstrate the enduring power of ideas to shape civilizations. They provided conceptual tools for thinking about justice and the good life. Studying Confucius and Plato together highlights different cultural approaches to universal problems. It reveals the diversity of human thought on fundamental issues. One sought harmony through propriety and benevolence. The other sought justice through reason and structure. Confucius believed good government flows from the ruler's inner virtue outwards. Plato believed good government requires specialized philosophical knowledge. The Junzi aims for ethical mastery and social conduct. The philosopher king aims for intellectual mastery of ultimate reality. Both systems place immense responsibility on the ruling elite. ensuring their virtue or knowledge is paramount. Confucian thought evolved over centuries, adapting to different dynasties and challenges. Platonic thought fueled ongoing philosophical debates in the West. Reflecting on their blueprints prompts us to examine our own societal values. What principles guide our political and social structures? Are we prioritizing harmony, justice, individual freedom, or the common good? Confucius and Plato offer distinct perspectives on these tensions. They remind us that building a better society requires deep reflection on ethics, education, and governance. Their questions are timeless. We've journeyed through the ambitious visions of Confucius and Plato, two giants who sought to architect ideal societies based on virtue and wisdom. From the rituals of ancient China to the rational forms of ancient Greece, their blueprints offer enduring insights. They challenge us to envision a more just world. Whose vision do you find more compelling or practical? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for joining this comparison of Eastern and Western political philosophy. We hope it provided valuable perspective. If you enjoyed exploring these grand societal designs, please support our channel. Your likes and subscriptions help us continue this journey. Consider the strengths and weaknesses of each approach. Could elements of both be combined for a more balanced vision? These ancient thinkers remind us that philosophy can offer powerful tools for social critique and transformation. Keep questioning, keep envisioning. In essence, Confucius sought social harmony through ethical relationships and tradition. Plato sought social justice through rational order and philosophical rule. Two monumental efforts to design the perfect society, rooted in different cultural and philosophical soil. Their debates continue to resonate today. Did you find this comparison enlightening? What other great thinkers should we compare side by side? We value your feedback and suggestions. Help us choose our next exploration into the world of ideas. Don't forget to like this video if you learned something new and subscribe for more deep dives into philosophy and history. Share this video with anyone interested in building a better world.